That one absolutely lived up to the hype. Two really good teams going at it. Told my team after the game, down 10, you got them right where you want them, don't you, fellas? Thanks a lot. Thanks for doing that to me again. We make a habit of it, but can't say enough about our two seniors tonight, just really making us believe and, helping us win. And so, again, I'm proud of our group. I think we continue to get better. It's February, and we're still getting better.
Still January.
Yeah, well, it's, so.
The shot that Steve hits in the corner, hadn't hit a shot all night, what allows him to kind of step in and say, this one's going down?
I think his percentage when they're crunch time shots, big shots, it's well over 50%. He didn't get any clean looks. They kind of smothered him. And one of the things that bothered us was their ball pressure. We turned it over in the first half. They athletically switched stuff. But Jaron did such a great job. That's such a pro move, what he did there, backing down and then finding a shooter in the corner. But I think we have a lot of confidence in Steve rising up to take it.
Said down 10. Pat came back in. It's an immediate 14-2 run. Is his presence
big time
necessary?
Well, I kept yelling in the timeout, "Where's Pat?" And they said he's in the tunnel. He'll need 2 more minutes. I'm thinking, well, then I should call 2 more timeouts, until I can put him back in. But we did get him back in there. He took a heck of a spill. But what a warrior. I mean, again, Grant and Connaughton. I always felt in the offseason, after a tough year last year, with those two guys, we got a shot. Those two guys are rocks. They're really talented guys. They've won together a lot. We got a chance with those guys setting the tone.
Why was Bonzi able to give such a spark in the first half?
Bonzi's, been that guy for us. One thing about Bonzi, he is not afraid, man. He is unafraid. He loves the moment, playing it. I thought he defended the heck undersized with Okafor, but he bothered him with his length, and he was flying around and his quickness. He's able to stay with Okafor a bunch. We discovered something the week Zach was out in Bonzi Colson, and it is a key piece to our team right now.
Could you talk about how meaningful it is to get victories against coach?
It's funny. I don't really look at it like that. I mean, I've been a head coach 20 years, man. And again, I owe a lot to Mike. We talked a little bit before and congratulated him and told him I was honored that I was a part of, some of that run. But it's about our team now. And you've heard me say, Kurt, when our program can beat the programs like Duke and North Carolina, especially now that we're in this league, it's a great endorsement of who we are in the league and kind of becoming a factor again, like we were in the Big East. We had to do it in the Big East with Syracuse and Georgetown and UConn. And you had to get those guys to be taken seriously in the league. And certainly you've gotten Carolina and Duke already this year. I think these guys, they do belong in the ACC.
Duke had a lot of trouble scoring the last 10 minutes of the game. What did you guys do defensively?
It's funny. This group, they've been down, but the last 7-8 minutes of games, we've guarded the heck out of people. And we switch a lot of stuff, and we just kind of lock in there. I know we're thoroughly exhausted, but we kind of fight through it. And we really have defended to win, to come back. Yeah, we make big shots and Grant gets going, but it's locking in defensively when it's really on the line. I don't know why we have to do that when we're down 10. Maybe we can do it down 3 at Pittsburgh. I'll talk about that tomorrow.
Mike, you've had other comebacks. What stands out most about this particular one?
Well, it was a little similar to last year. Weren't we down 10 to them last year in the second half, I think? It was very similar, and Jackson hit the 3 in the corner in front of our bench. I think you're proud of how you guarded. We rebounded better defensively. We got cocky offensively. And we do that in crunch time. We get a real offensive swagger when Jaron starts driving that lane, and then Demetrius is a secondary driver, and we got guys spotting up. We rotated to the small lineup a couple times, and that helped us open the floor up even more, even though Zach and Bonzi gave us great stuff as our big guys tonight.
Mike was in there sort of lamenting how much Bonzi was getting physical with Okafor. Was that just sort of go beat him up a little bit?
I said, Bonds, I told Bonds this yesterday in practice. I said, Bonds, at Georgia Tech, you got 1 bloody nose. You may need to get 2 or 3 on Wednesday. Can I count on you? He goes, no problem, coach. Seriously, no problem. So he knows he can be physical, but his length and his quickness, I think, he was always around him. And Okafor's a special talent, man. But our feeling was, if you start helping too much, he's a really good passer, and you can't let them scorch you from the arc. I felt if we were giving up twos, we would hopefully score enough to escape. Even though at times, when he's burying us and jump hooking at us over and over, you still want to give up twos, right, Mike? You still want to give up twos. I'm talking myself into it. We did go zone one possession in the second half, in the midst of the comeback. Cook missed a three. That change of gears kind of helped us a little bit. But, you just didn't want them knocking down 10 threes.
What's going through your head when Jaron takes that shot between the top of the key and half court?
Whatever Jaron wants to do. He's when he's feeling it like that. I'll give you a great one the other night at NC State. I've got Connaughton on the bench. He's got 2 fouls. And we're getting thumped pretty good in the first half, but I'm thinking maybe we just get to halftime. We got to get it, make a little bit of a run. It's at 14-12. I'm thinking, okay, right where we want him, we're all right. We'll get Pat in the second half. Jaron looks at him and he goes, we need him. Pat, get in the game. Jaron has a lot of say on this. We let him. He's got a great basketball IQ too, Al. He knows our sets, knows our system, and God, he loves the moment. I mean, he is such a bright lights, big stage guy. He's really clutch.
Is this his best game, you think?
You know what? You could argue this was his best on this stage. What was it? 23, 12, and 6, and just making plays and driving. He's just so confident and the poise with which he got Steve that shot. He had that lined up almost for 5 seconds before he passed it. He's putting himself in position to be a very wealthy man next year.
Coach, what's your message to the team going into the game against Pittsburgh?
I'm glad you brought that up because I told our guys right away, I said, we need to turn the page quick. I said, because noon on Saturday comes fast. They lose a tough one last night, but it's still Pittsburgh. I said, we would have every reason to be a little flat, a little under-energized, given what we had to do against NC State and tonight. I said, if you get the one in Pittsburgh, I'll start to refer to you as having special qualities. I'm serious. I mean, you get that one because you're really, human nature would say you're not going to be very good. So I'm very interested to see how we are high noon on Saturday.
What was the key to limiting them on those second chances? I mean, they didn't really capitalize on a whole lot of them.
Yeah, I thought, we got some quick bounce guys in there. Bonzi gets up and bothers shots and can block shots. Pat does too. It's funny, we've given up a lot of offensive rebounds at times, but people aren't always putting them back in. They're missing that next one, and we're getting them. I think that we stay bouncy around there and keep jumping. And my assistants go crazy when we don't get the first one or the second one, but as long as we're bouncing, sometimes we get the third one and we get out. I had to make a vow not to get uptight about giving up offensive rebounds because it's just going to happen. But over the course of 40 minutes, you got to guard our lineup too.
When did you learn to accept that with this team?
Italy. No, I just thought if we're going to start Connaughton, we're going to give some up with some of the big bodies coming at us. But our offensive efficiency can be so high, I think over 40 minutes, we'll be able to absorb them. And can we get them down the stretch? And we have. That's where we've been good. Our blockouts have been attention to detail in crunch time to keep it to one and done.
Mike, those final 2 offensive possessions, do you have specific instructions for Jaron, or do you just say, go do your thing?
We kind of get a flat ball screen for him when when his eyes are wide like that and the karma's good in the building and it's swirling and he's got that look. We get a flat ball screen for him and we let him read it and make plays. And usually in the second half, he gets really confident. Defenses get a little fatigued. They really take the ball screen away a lot of times in the first half. But eventually, they wear down a little bit, and he starts turning the corner and getting into the lane. He can finish. He can make plays. Puts a lot of pressure, but it's ball screen for Jaron, and get your hands ready, because he'll find you.
Speaking of these experiences, these comebacks, especially Jaron's performance, help you guys in the long term, in the final answer?
I think it puts you in a position where, we always feel we don't panic. We should never panic. when we're down now, because it's happened a bunch and we've come back, and I think we'll be able to handle just about anything. It's a pretty mentally tough group. They're poised when they're down. They don't they're not arguing in the huddle. They're not hanging their head. And I give Pat and Jaron a lot of credit on that.
Like, you guys go down 10 in the second half to go on the 12-2 run. Did you ever think maybe we're not going to be able to come back at this one?
I've never thought that about this group. As a matter of fact, I've got the speech ready. I mean, I practiced it. I said, fellas, we're exactly where we've been. How many times? Down 10. I said, we need a couple stops now. You're not going to do it just on offense. And I said, well, I need 3 stops. If you get me, let's get 3 stops. We call that a kill. Let's see if we can get a kill. If we get a kill, this thing's going to get interesting again. And we did.
Is that something you think you've been able to think in your head over with your past teams?
Yeah, I mean, other teams have been able to come back, but I mean, this group, almost relishes it. See, there is a little bit of a psychological advantage. That's why I don't want to overcoach. Hey, we need to be out in front. We need to have the lead. When you're down, you play with nothing to lose. You play loose. And a lot of times, and when you play at home in a big game, human nature is you're a little tight. Duke was loose tonight, and they were flowing and playing, and we were uptight at times because the moment was big. Then you get down 10, nothing to be uptight about, because you're thinking, we may get blown out, let's just play. And so there is a little bit of an advantage psychologically sometimes, and maybe our guys purposely do that to themselves. I ain't going to mess with it.
When you came in, you said that lived up to the hype, didn't it? And, so it was there, it was palpable. In the days leading up to the game, what kinds of conversations do you have with your team about that? Because, like you said, they got a little uptight as earlier on. In the
we did a game.
How do you try to manage?
We did a game situation yesterday, and I've talked about game situations we've done where tie score, down 1, up 3. The game situation we did yesterday, I put 20 minutes on the clock, and we had a center jump start of the game. And we played till about 14 minutes on the clock, and the white shirts were up like 11-4. And I was hoping psychologically, hey, and we were in a pretty good. We got off to a better start. It's just in the second half, we got, and you got to give them credit. I mean, they're really talented offensively. This is a talented offensive team. And then Winslow's hitting his jump shot again. So that was like another weapon. He had not been making shots. So now we thought we could help a little off of him. He's making shots. So now you're saying, hey, big guys, you got the big fella all by yourself. Good luck. Do the best you can.
What's that skill or lesson from the Duke experience that serves you best as a head coach?
When I was with Mike for 8 years, just, learning how to compete every day to build a program as much in the off season as during the season, and recruiting or marketing your program. That was I learned a lot of great lessons, but that was maybe the biggest one. It was good to see him tonight. I don't get to see him much. Now we're in the ACC, and it's funny how we cross paths. We always kind of go to dinner in the summer on the recruiting trail, and we tell some great stories from back in the day, and we do have some great stories. But
you're going to tell us some of those great stories?
Not tonight.
Can you size up his 1,000 wins and how you feel that relates to some of the other great coaches in the history of college basketball?
Well, it's an unbelievable milestone. I just don't see it being touched. To get that, whoever gets it, he's going to have to become a head coach when he's 22, at a good job. He's got to get the Duke job at 22. It's just untouchable. And he's in a class by himself, and he's a great example, and he's a great ambassador for college basketball. Thank you.